This project is going to be much like that one you just seen flash on the screen, but it's going to be a little different. We're going to do a slight twist. It's going to be a little bit harder, and I think it's actually going to look a lot better. So stick around to the end and tell me in the comments what you think. Is this one better or is the last one better? So welcome to my channel. My name is Jeff, and basically I do glass fusing tutorials. So if you have a look around the channel, you'll find there's a whole stack of them. Now I've been wanting to do a variation on that last project for quite a while, and I've got a sheet of glass here that I've had stacked in the storage there for a number of years. So the two together have been the inspiration to do this project. So it's basically the same technique, and it's quite a simple one, a little tedious, but it is quite simple to do. But we're doing a little twist on it this time. In the last one I used small squares of glass. In this one I'm actually using diamond shaped pieces of glass. I think it's going to look a lot better than the last one. It's going to look a little bit more complex and a little bit more unusual. Now, make sure you tell me in the comments at the end of the video just what you think. What did you think of the technique? And do you think it looks better than the one that used just the square pieces? And if you liked the video, please hit the like button, share it around. Think about subscribing and maybe even think about becoming a member, as there are some excellent member-only videos available as well. So let's get into making this little project. And the first thing, of course, as usual, are the materials, the design and the equipment, and not necessarily in that order. Now, the design. The design of this piece is basically simply, if I can say simply, an octagon-shaped final piece slumped into a square mould. And the octagon-shaped piece is going to be composed of small small diamonds of glass, like that. And just as in the other project, which there'll be a link to in the description, it is basically just a lot of these little diamond-shaped pieces of glass layered up in two layers. One layer on the bottom and another one where the top layer overlap on the corners like that. In this one, I'm going to be using three colours. I'm going to use one colour to form like a border, one colour which is clear, which is on the base in the middle, and another colour which are the highlight colours to fill it in, which go on the top. And if you're wondering what this is all about, this is how I have worked out how many little diamond-shaped pieces of glass I need and how I'm going to lay them up. This is going to go in a square mould, but it is going to be an octagon shape. And you can see, this is only a quarter of it, by the way. You can see up here, this will form one side, another one down here, and another one down here. So it's effectively an octagon, 8-sided piece. And we're using a square mould, so those sides there will form, or should say rest on the square mould, with these sides here slumping down into the join where each side meets. Now, as far as dimensions are concerned and how I come up with the size of this, I simply took my square mould and worked out the maximum size, or close to the maximum size, that I could make that would fit in the mould. And I've worked that out through trial and error. Basically, what I did is I thought, well, how many diamonds do I want roughly? Come up with some numbers there, and then started drawing it up. I drew this up a couple of times to get it right. So what I've done is all of these lines, which are at 60 degrees, are 8 mils apart, as you can see there. So I've drawn a whole heap of lines, 8 mils apart. And then that's the centre of my piece. I've went from there and I've sketched in where each diamond will go. And then from there I worked out the colour scheme that I wanted. Now I am a little concerned about one aspect of this whole thing. because this is quite a delicate piece, when it's slumping into the mould, because of this, these sides are going to go down into the corners, and I've got to get this to slump so the centre sits on the bottom, that when I do a tack fuse of this, and that's all I'm going to do, I'm going to tack fuse these top pieces onto the bottom pieces. When I do a tack fuse of this, that is not as strong as a full fuse. And I'm just a little concerned that the tension as this slumps down doesn't cause any cracks, and we'll see how that goes in the end. Now, materials. You've probably guessed already, there's clear that goes on the bottom. There's the lilac, which is 1442, which will be the highlighted pieces in the middle. And there's 1334 over here, which is gold purple, believe it or not. It's not black, and I'll show you that in a minute, which will go these outside edges. So the gold purple will be on the bottom, on the outside ones. The clear will be on the middle, in the middle I should say, and the lilac ones will go on top of all of those. And don't forget, this is all Bullseye COE 90, and all the glass I'm using will be 3 mils thick. Now I'll just show you this gold purple, which looks completely black, and it's not. I've got a torch here. If it'll come on for me and stay on. See here. It's very dark, but it is purple. And I'm hoping that when I have the piece sitting on a stand with some good light on it, that's going to go and throw, I'm trying to show you there, you can sort of see it here, a nice colour on the whatever it's sitting on, basically. So it's going to have some nice, not transmitted, you know what I mean anyway, lost for words, old man talking here again. So hopefully that'll work and it won't be too dark. Now as far as equipment, you're not going to need much. The only thing, this is the mould I'm using, just show it to you here. It's quite a large one. I think it's 275 across there from memory, and you can see it's not very deep. So that's the mould I'm going to be using. That's part of your equipment. I don't expect to be doing any grinding or anything like that. If I get deviate on this, it's difficult to fix because any more firing of the piece will basically flatten it further, and I don't want to flatten it anymore. So I'm hoping that I don't get any deviate on this from the tack fuse. So I don't see you needing any other equipment basically other than a mould to put it in and your normal glass cutters, etc. And don't forget, this is all Bullseye COE 90, so the firing schedules I give you will need to be adjusted if you're using something else. And don't forget, your kiln probably fires slightly differently. Now stay safe, make sure you use all of the necessary safety equipment, and protect those eyes no matter what you do. Can't do much without them. Well, you can, but it's harder. Oh, and something else I should have mentioned in the materials is that on the shelf, when I'll be tack fusing this, I'll use thin fire paper, and in my mould I'll be spraying it with boron nitride. So first thing is cutting, and I'm going to explain to you how I cut these little diamond-shaped pieces of glass. Right, I'm sure you're wondering how I cut the diamonds. Look, I'm sure there are other ways of doing this, so just use whatever method you find the best for you. I'm going to show you mine. I come up with this through some trial and error, and it works for me. But yeah, use your own method. So what I do is I will basically cut a strip of glass, and then from that I can repeatedly cut the diamonds. Now the width of the strip I work out from my design here. Excuse me. Because I made it 8 mils between each line, so I want the diamond to cover 3 of those rows. So I know that from that edge to that edge, it's 24 mils. So first thing is I cut a strip 24 mils wide. I've got my guide set up here. I've got this lubricated already. So I'm going to cut a strip here 24 mils wide. Right, excuse me. So that's the first bit, cut my strip. Second bit now is I need to get a 60-degree angle on here to start off with. On my setup, I've got this that I can simply move over to here. You can see there's a guide here that allows you to fine-tune your angle. Down the bottom down here is like a little protractor. So I set that to 60 degrees here. Then to fine-tune this, because this is not necessarily completely accurate, I use a little, wish I had a bigger one than this, a little right angle triangle. I know that's 60 degrees there. I place it in under here and I'll line that edge up with the edge of that little triangle there and get it as close as possible. Look, the angle is important, because if your angles are out a little bit, your diamond will be out a little bit. But I found that it doesn't, that's not critical to this process. It all works out fine and still looks fine. So with that now, I will cut a 60 degree on this strip. I'm not going to try and go to the point, because it probably won't break properly if I do that. So I will cut end off there. I was pretty close though, a bit too close. Take that off. Now, I want my diamonds, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a pen, turn that over, put it in here, and from that point there, I'm going to draw a line back up there. Like that. I'm going to turn it over again, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go from that point there, hope I'm not in your way here, and I'm going to draw a line back up. And there's my diamond. Now, critical thing here is I've got to cut this. So my cutter has a little point on it here. Don't know whether you can see that, I hope you can. I will line that up with that point down there. So I'll get it as close as I can possibly get it. This is about there. I'll then take my little guide here, bring it in and put it up against that. So I now permanently, I've got a guide. Cut my little triangle. There's my first triangle. To cut the next one, all I have to do is put that up against the guide and cut it. So that's how I cut my little triangles. As I said, if you've got a better method, great. If you haven't, hopefully this one will work for you. So as you can see, I've cleaned it all. Now I've done every piece individually just to make sure it's nice and clean. So now I just need to assemble it all. So, what do you think? I'm very happy with that. It's turned out really well. Except the only thing is that that gold purple is so dark that it doesn't even sort of show any colour with the light passing through it because it's so dark. Which is why that sat in my shelf for so long, because I was thinking, it just looks so dark and it's almost black. You can sort of see it a little bit. No, actually, no, I don't think that's what you're seeing. What you're seeing is this lilac on the top, or lavender. So it is very dark, unfortunately. Would have been nice if it was a bit lighter, rather than having such a dark border. We could have had a bit more, or a richer colour there. But other than that, it's turned out really nice. Very happy with that. So let's just clean it up now, and we'll get it on the mould and in the kiln. Actually, before I do that, I think, hopefully the camera picks it up, why that looks a little lighter there is because it's been diluted by the lavender on the top. As it's thinned out, you can see there, you can see through it, as it's thinned out the gold purple. That would have been a good colour. So maybe a way to use this is to fuse it with a couple of sheets of clear on the top and fuse it down so it'll actually thin that layer out and it will transmit more colour. Something to think about. Well, what do you think? I think that has turned out beautifully. It is as I expected it to be. The dark purple on the side is just a little too dark to transmit some nice colour. So that is not a disappointment because it's pretty much as I expected it was going to be. The lavender on the clear has worked beautifully. And overall, I think that is a success. No real surprises at all. And everything went smoothly. Even the shape is as pleasing as I hoped it would be. It is just that gentle, it's taken up the shape of that square bowl in a nice gentle curve there. So overall, very happy with that piece. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think it looks beautiful? And would you do anything different? And if so, tell me. I'd love to know. And if you've got any questions, put them in there as well. Now, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd appreciate that, or becoming a member. Other than that, that's pretty much it for this video. Now, if you are thinking about becoming a member, up here are some example videos that members get, and there's a button to find out more information. Down here is a suggested video just for you, the subscribe button, and until the next time, I'll say bye for now.